we do once a month. We have Erlene Tilton in with us this morning. Erlene, how you doing?
I am doing awesome. It's great.
You know, over the last few months, I have been really intrigued with some of these oils, and especially, I think a lot of people use essential oils in little, aromatic things in the house and stuff like that. But the really high quality ones that can actually be used for cooking, I'm a bit of a foodie, and I've been amazed at what they can do just strictly from a culinary standpoint, not to mention from a health standpoint or that perspective. And I guess I've looked at a lot of different fads over the years and stuff like that when it comes to different types of diets, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Is your diet and how that might be having either a very deleterious or very positive effect on you. And to begin with, we're going to talk about SAD diet.
Yes. Well, first let me explain that Americans have not been taught why we eat. And basically, why we eat is to supply our body with the proper nutrients in order to function.
Right.
And most people have just turned into human garbage cans. And they're eating everything and drinking everything in sight without really even thinking what they're putting into their body. And then they're disappointed when they have headaches, when they have indigestion, when they have all these dysfunctions, disorders, where the truth is, what you eat makes a difference. And especially what we wanted to talk about today is really how it makes a difference between staying cool in the summer or staying hot in the summer.
Wow, actually helping to control your
body
how comfortable
temperature.
you are.
Yeah, and I wanted to kind of bring out, first of all, think about the people in northern Alaska. Do they just eat the regular diet that everybody else is eating, as well as the people in Hawaii? What are their diets and why do they differ so greatly? Well, you stop and think about it. In order for those people in northern Alaska to stay warm, they have to eat a diet really, really high in heavy proteins and fats.
And whale blubber is a big part of the traditional diet up there. You don't see a lot of whale blubber in Hawaii.
No.
I mean, out on the beach sometimes, but that's another story.
And what do you see in Hawaii? A lot of fruits because it's cleansing, it keeps you cool. And so if you stop and think about our climate here locally, are we eating the same foods year round? Are we stopping at the same fast food places and eating those same things? Because these foods should greatly differ. What we eat in the wintertime should greatly differ from what we eat in the summertime. And the SAD diet specifically is what actually Barbara Reed Stitt calls in her book, Food and Behavior, the standard American diet, which is nothing but junk food, the processed foods, the chemicals that are completely full. And the SAD diet really is where they've taken all of these whole foods, they've removed all the fiber, all the vitamins and nutrients and the enzymes.
All the stuff you really need.
All the stuff that you need, and what they have put in place of that is chemicals. Chemical food colorings and flavorings and MSG and all of these nitrates. The demand. So definitely that's where all of our dysfunction and disease sets in, because we're not giving our body what it needs, and we're not even thinking what we're eating and why we're eating what we're eating.
Makes sense. And so now there's certainly, it seems like over the years, I remember, this particular diet is really in vogue right now. Everybody's talking about this diet. And I know one of them that I have a couple of friends that, have really been touting the positive aspects of being on like a carnivore diet where it's all just meat and stuff like that. But some of the reading I've done that says, maybe everything in moderation, not quite so much of just one thing, might be a lot smarter way to go.
Yeah, the fad diets can be really detrimental to our health, and the keto is, there's some good things about it. One of the things that it does is say, let's get rid of the carbs, basically the grain carbs. The grain carbs are killing us. That's the downfall of the American diet is the grain carbs. So I agree with that aspect. Let's get rid of all those grain carbs.
Now when you talk about, just for people that, might be almost as dense as I am, when we talk about grain carbs, talking like breads, things like that?
We're talking, the keto diet gets rid of all breads, all grains, all pastas, everything with grains in it, and it really does. And basically you're supplying your fat as your energy source instead of your carbs.
Right.
So basically the problem with that diet, even though that has some good aspects, the biggest problems with that diet, first of all, the quality isn't there. The number one thing they promote is bacon. Really? How can that?
Sorry.
How can that really be a good, healthy thing?
Nothing like some good pig fat,
But the fiber, the vitamins, minerals, the enzymes is not there in that type of diet. And especially when it comes to summertime, basically it's a horrible diet for summertime. And the reason is if you stop and think about protein, let's go back to the Alaskans too, they get the blubber and the high fat protein intake. Your body's hardest foods to digest is the heavy fats and proteins, especially red meat. Red meat, specifically, it's almost like your body creates a friction in order to break it down. And that friction is kind of like riding your bike uphill. You have to work harder. So a little bit lighter proteins would be chicken, and then of course fish is lighter than that, and even lighter than that is your eggs or your vegetable proteins, your nuts and seeds and chia, and there's all kinds of good vegetable proteins. So in the summertime, just lighten up on the proteins. But like I said, if you're following, a keto diet, believe it or not, there's vegan ketos. And you can just go more to the more vegetable proteins. We still need proteins. Don't cut out all the proteins.
Sure.
But just really lighten up, especially on the heavy proteins. I know people like to do a lot of barbecuing on the grill. But basically, you're just adding heat to your body, and your body's trying to cool down. Mm-hmm. So we can assist it.
I know at our place, we care for my mother-in-law, and she just recently has been told by her doctor to, hey, you got to cut back on that red meat, and we all knew that, well, we should too. So we're blaming it all on her, but we are cutting back. And it's kind of a fun challenge, though, because I haven't spent a lot of time getting real creative with fish, and I'm looking forward to, having some fun with that. But there's 150 different ways to fix chicken, all of which are uniquely different. So I mean, this isn't like you're destined for a life of bland yuck. I mean, you can still be pretty creative and stay healthy with this.
Absolutely, and it doesn't mean go vegan or vegetarian at all. It just means lighten up. Just omit the red meats, the higher fat meats, and just go lighter and go more to your vegetable proteins. I mean, it's okay to have, more nuts and seeds rather than red meat, and even chicken or fish. I mean, just lighten up on the proteins.
And this will actually help you to feel cooler during the summer.
Absolutely. Like I said, if we learn to listen to our bodies and eat those things that will help give our body a cooling effect naturally. That's why I like the paleo diet. The paleo diet is, I don't call it a fad diet, I call it more of just a more sensible diet. And basically it's still giving up those grain carbs and it's the sugars, but it also gives up the milk, but eat more fruits and vegetables, especially vegetables.
Right.
And people in our day aren't eating enough vegetables. So more greens, more salads, more, just get a lot more salads in your diet and celery,
and you get a lot more,
cucumbers.
right, you get a lot more of the nutritional benefits from raw vegetables than after you cook them. You can actually cook a lot of the goodness out of them, can't you?
Absolutely, and this is why we need our raw vegetables. First of all, they are very high fiber, high enzymes, high vitamins and minerals, they're high in water richness. And so if you basically kind of fill up on them first, then add a little bit of protein here and some of these other foods, but just really keep the heavy proteins to a minimal and just eat more of your lighter vegetables and fill up on them. We feel so much better. There's more energy, better digestion. We just feel better. And if people would just learn to listen to their body, not their cravings, because I know
I need French fries.
Yeah.
or I need, breads and,
Right.
Just eat a little bit more of those hearty vegetables and lighter proteins.
I'm real guilty of this because, nothing like fresh baked bread coming out of the oven. And aside from that, gosh, I can think of 100 different ways to fix potatoes. But these were, I guess, things that I was kind of ingrained into who I am as a kid, because there's always meat and potatoes, at dinner. And a lot of that stuff we really don't need.
We don't need. And I remember learning years ago that the meat and potatoes together were just a horrible combination. And just in these last few years, when I've kind of gone more paleo, and like I said, I love the paleo concept. To me, it seems like a much more perfect diet. But basically, the emphasis is on vegetables and proteins. And so if you really think of, what can you create with vegetables and proteins? And fruits too. You can have some fruits too. Just don't overdo it on the fruits. I find a lot of people, they say, well, I eat fruits. But their kids aren't eating vegetables. They're not eating vegetables. They're just eating still a lot of sugars, a lot of fruits, and a lot of grain carbs, and they're getting the proteins, but they're missing out on the vegetable benefits that are those low-calorie, high-nutrient foods that our bodies really need and really respond to positively.
One of the things along those lines that I found kind of interesting too is that when it comes to how to make a salad a little different, so you're not just kind of like always eating the same thing. Wait, there's so many different things you can do with not only the ingredients, but salad dressings can go a lot of different directions, and especially like in the summer, some very refreshing, very light type of dressings I personally like. You mentioned though that some of these things will make you feel cooler during the summer. What about during the winter? If you keep on this diet, are you gonna freeze all winter? Or?
Absolutely, and vegetarians are really, really suffer in the wintertime. They're
Really?
very cold.
I didn't know that.
Usually, because they don't get enough protein. And
They're not cold, they're cool.
so basically, eating more protein in the wintertime makes sense because, like I said, and I'm not a red meat eater, so, but I do eat more protein in the winter than I do in the summer because it really does make a difference in how you feel.
Wow, interesting. Now, one of the other things too that I know has kind of come front and center with my family is I look back at my wife and I have been married for 42 years, and I know in our early years, I believe we really should have purchased stock in Diet Coke because my wife was a serious Diet Coke drinker. But we've gotten away from all of that and really drink a lot of water more than anything. And I've been really intrigued with these oils. A couple of drops. We from Erlene, we got one of these little bottles of tangerine oil, and a drop of that in your glass of ice water. It became such a wonderful thing. We finished. One little drop out of a whole bottle. We finished off a bottle already. So and that's how much we've enjoyed that. But it enables us to be drinking water, which is good for you, and adding something to it, which is good for you, and it tastes good.
And that's the key there. A lot of people just go for those big gulps during the summer, and you know what? They actually dehydrate you. And that's why I always wondered, how can people get a 64-ounce down them? That's 2 quarts. And without just constantly being on the toilet, it just didn't make sense until I found out that they actually are dehydrators. They're very acidic and very dehydrating, and plus they just, again, pollute your body. So instead, drink the water. The water is cleansing, and it's more neutral pH, not acidic. And adding the essential oils make it alkaline. So it's a very, very positive thing you can do. Get away from the acidity, all those other drinks out there, and let's bring in the water, add a few drops of essential oil. Make sure you don't add it to plastic though, because it will break down the plastic, the petrochemicals in the plastic, and you don't want to do that. Make sure it's glass.
Because then
or
you're going to be
stainless steel.
ingesting those chemicals.
Yeah, you're going to be
Makes sense.
ingesting those.
Now you know, when it comes to a lot of this stuff, I know one of the other things that I've done some reading on, but I've been really concerned about a couple of friends of mine that are drinking these energy drinks all the time. And you know, when you look at how much caffeine is in those, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like my coffee in the morning, but you know, maybe just at the beginning to get going, and then I'll switch to water. But some of these things can really have very negative impacts on you.
Absolutely. Energy drinks are really, really bad for your system. And again, I think the biggest problem with those is that you're on a cycle. You want that upper, then it's a downer, then you want that upper again. And the key to real energy is a clean system, and this is what people don't understand. And that's why, to me, pure water with essential oils makes sense. Because you're adding great flavor, which is what people want.
Sure.
But you're also adding some really great benefits, because like peppermint and spearmint, they're very cooling to the body. They're actually refrigerants for the body. Peppermint, if you get any head tension or elevated temperature, peppermint is really good, or spearmint, for cooling your body down. In fact, for hiking, I have this peppermint spritzer. It's really good to, you know, just spritz on your face, on your head, your neck, whatever, when you're hiking, because it actually cools your body. But internally, you can add these to your drinks. Citrus oils is another really good, and we're going to actually go in the kitchen and show some of this. But citrus oils are really good because they actually speed up your metabolism. They really support a healthy gut. You feel better, you feel cleaner. They're really good at pulling the toxins and the petrochemicals out of your cells and helping them.
Help cleansing them.
Yeah, so they're very, very good for cleansing, speeding up your metabolism, and just making everything function better. And so where all those sport drinks, those energy drinks, soft drinks are actually clogging up your system and bogging it down, we have our essential oils that are speeding up your metabolism, cleaning your system, cooling down your system, and just giving you a lot more energy, which is what people want. They want to feel more energy.
Well, you know, one of the things too is, you know, I've read for many years that, oh, we should drink, you know, so many ounces of water every day, you know, to help flush your system and all of that, you know, good stuff. And it just seemed like almost like an insurmountable task to think of drinking that much water, but these essential oils really make it. I mean, you have to try it. You can't just use any essential oil. Some of them are made only for, you know, topical use and or through little atomizers and things like that. But the higher quality stuff, correct me if I go wrong here, can be ingested and bring a lot of benefit to you. But it also makes for just a real refreshing drink that I think beats the heck out of water, and I just want to keep drinking it. Now I have, you know, as far as I don't know, what is the intended intake per day, like 8 glasses of water or something like that a day, I think is what I read. And I don't know how big those glasses are.
Actually, we've had kind of a rule of thumb that half your body's weight in ounces. So if you weigh 120, then, you know, 60 ounces is your minimum. But in the summer, you actually need more because it hydrates your cells.
Okay, I gotta start drinking more water. I just have my, oh gosh, okay, I got a lot more to do. Gonna need to get some more essential oils.
Yes.
But again, really important to not only flush toxins out of the system with just the water, but with these essential oils, it really has even that much more positive effect.
More positive benefits. Like I said, if we first look at our diet and really think about, you know, let's get rid of a lot of the heavy proteins, get rid of a lot of the carbs that bog your system down. That's why people are so bogged down and have no energy. And get rid of those, but substitute, you know, a lot of fresh vegetables. A lot more salads, leafy greens, smoothies, smoothie bowls. We're going to talk about that in the kitchen. And drink water with essential oils. I mean, this is the way we have more energy, we feel better, we look better, we can avoid some of those dysfunctions down the road or even now. And the bottom line is they taste great and they're doing something good for your system. And that's what it's all about. Listening to your body and feeding your body the foods and the drinks that will support your body's needs.
You know, one of the things, and maybe you can, I think this would correlate perhaps, but one of the things that I found curious is we have a really nice juicer at home and like to do different things. And I find that carrots, throw a few apples in there and maybe just a little piece of ginseng root. It creates a juice that my body just craves. I can't drink it fast enough. I mean, it's weird that my body has such a craving for that. Is this our body actually just trying to tell us something? Or am I just weird? Or is it a combination of both, perhaps?
Actually, juicing is great. I don't do that every day. I have my times that I do juicing, but you're right. Your body just really craves nutrition, and you're getting concentrated nutrition in that juice.
Well, and I think the same, I mean, I get kind of the same feeling with some of these oils and just the, ice water
Absolutely.
that I drink. There's just something about it that tastes like I'm supposed to be drinking more of this.
Right.
I like that idea.
And that's what our essential oils are. They're basically the concentrated therapeutic properties of that plant in just times the hundreds, that we would normally get if we just ate it. And so this is why they're so beneficial. They're just in that concentrated form that gives us huge benefits. And like you were saying earlier, just one drop of tangerine can do so much to, a whole big glass of water. So many benefits, and so the robust flavor that it provides is just amazing. So just go for the good concentrated sources, and you'll see that your body's craving it.
Now we're going to, for those of you that follow along with us on Facebook Live, we're going to be going back into the kitchen here, and Erlene's got some interesting things she's going to be showing us. But in the meantime, for those that are only following us on the radio, if people want to find out more about these essential oils, and I mean, you've got a treasure trove of some very interesting recipes too that I'm very intrigued with. How can they get more information?
Okay, first of all, I have a website. And it's just my name, ErleneTilton.com, and that's ErleneTilton.com. Or you can email me, and I will even send you some of these recipes. So, and it's just ask, A-S-K, like ask me, at, and then my name again, ErleneTilton.com.
Outstanding.
And you can either go to my website or email me. And I'm glad to, send you some information that will just help you to have a cooler, more positive summer.
Well, I have to say, first of all, if you have a chance, follow along with us on Facebook Live today as we go back into the kitchen here for our second half hour, because here a few months ago, when I had my first experience with Erlene here, and we were going back in, and she was talking about all this health food stuff, and we were going to be tasting it. I was thinking, oh boy, now I got to really get my poker face on and all of this. And I have been amazed at some of the stuff that she's been coming up with, and especially how these oils work. And so much so that I bought a bunch of them myself and have been experimenting in my cooking at home, and I've just been thoroughly impressed. And the fact that there's physiological benefits as a result is just icing on a cake that I'm not supposed to eat. But anyway, it's all good. So follow along with us on Facebook Live as we make a transition back into our kitchen. Right now, though, for those of you listening along on the radio, I'm going to get you back to more of your favorite music. Have some tunes coming up from Styx, Warren, Kenny Loggins, Leonard Skinner, Grateful Dead, and a whole bunch more. But right now, a quick look at Rim Country weather. And all of that said, now we're going to head back to the kitchen. Got some great, and it's time for smoothies too. Got to love that. So bear with us for just a moment. Have a video we want to show you, and we'll be back with you in just a second from the KRIM kitchen. All right. Now, back in the KRIM kitchen. This is my favorite part of the show once a month with you, Erlene. What are we looking at today?
Okay, first of all, cool drinks. We had talked about, you love the tangerine, but this is a drink that I love making in the summer. Actually, to this container, I put 2 drops of spearmint essential oil and 20 drops of lime, and just filled it with water and ice. I don't know, it's just a great refreshing drink. Go ahead and have a taste of that and see what you think. It has a little bit of stevia in it, so you don't even have to add the stevia in it.
Wow.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
Don't you like the spearmint and the lime together?
Yeah, and then the stevia sweetens it up too. Wow, that's really interesting. I like
Isn't
that a lot.
good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And 20 drops of lime
And 2 drops of spearmint. The mints are really, really strong.
I've noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just really want to go easy on the mints, and you can add some lime slices or whatever to that, but I just love the spearmint and lime together. They're just a really great flavor. You can also add, make iced teas, or I do a lot of herbal teas, and I like to add some of these to my teas too. Small quantities, but
Right.
But that's for a whole container that you would do that. So.
Some of the cooking stuff that I've done, there were some more savory type of oils that I had talked to you about, and even like black pepper oil, and how that black pepper flavor permeates, what you're cooking with just a little bit is really, I think it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is, absolutely. So next we are actually going to do a smoothie bowl. I don't know if you've ever done a smoothie bowl.
No.
But it's kind of fun. Now we're starting with about 3/4 cup of water, and I'm actually going to add frozen blackberries in here. Hopefully it's not
They are
too
frozen.
Yeah, don't want to make a mess here. So we're doing about a cup of the blackberries. Sorry, I put these in last night. And about a cup of pineapple, and hopefully we can get this out of the bowl here.
This is frozen too, so
These are frozen.
This is in place of ice then, right?
Basically, again, we want to use our fruits as our sweetener.
Sure.
And not add some other sweeteners. We don't have to add any sweetener. Whoops. If we actually add our fruits. So, to this, you can still add some greens. And I'm just going to add a few greens here.
Wow.
To the smoothie bowl. And then in addition to that, I'm going to add some raw nuts.
So we get
A
protein.
handful of almonds. We want to make sure and get our proteins in there. We've got our fruits, our vegetables, our protein. And I'm also adding some protein powder, which is really good quality. There's a lot of not so good protein powders out there. Make sure they're clean. And I have some chia seeds in there, so we're going to add that to there. And last but not least, we are going to make sure and add some essential oil. I'm going to put wild orange. I like that in this particular smoothie bowl. So about 3 drops is really good for a smoothie bowl. So a little bit different than a smoothie. It's a really, really thick one, so it's kind of like pudding. And it's a great way to start your day, especially in the summertime. So we're going to put this on our smoothie bullet. So you can see this is really, really thick.
I mean, really thick.
Really thick.
Wow.
Yeah. And so this is kind of how we make a smoothie bowl. Just really, you can see how thick it is, kind of like pudding. And basically, smoothie bowls, they usually try to make really pretty and dress them up a little bit. So to this smoothie bowl, we're just going to dress it up a little bit, maybe add some fresh blueberries and add You know, sliced banana.
My tongue's getting goosebumps.
And just kind of make it pretty. So.
Boy, there's nothing unhealthy about that.
Maybe add a few nuts here. I don't know why the line is kind of a thing. And this is hemp seed. And it's a very, very good protein as well. So we want to get our proteins in there. So we've got proteins, fruits, and vegetables. And this is basically our smoothie bowl. And it's so fun. Kids love this. I mean, they think they're going to Dairy Queen, you know. But it's something that really is good for them. And so it's great. It's a great way to start your day. So enjoy.
I love my job. So interesting. Now you've got there was so much good stuff just in the smoothie itself, but then more fruit and everything. I mean, this is like, that would be an amazing breakfast.
It is an amazing breakfast, and like I says, we call it a smoothie bowl because, like I says, it's kind of thick like pudding. And then you've got all of those wonderful additional foods. There is a lot of fruit in it. So you want to make sure that you get proteins in the smoothie and proteins on top and kind of stir it in. But it's a great way to start your day. And like I says, it's a cooling thing. It's a great thing for a mid-afternoon snack. It's also a fun thing to do. Kids love smoothies or smoothie bowls.
I'm gonna make sure that I split this with Chris, so I won't contaminate it with another dip here. I'll split it off before I do that. But this is excellent, and obviously real easy and quick to do. I've got one of these at home,
super
so
simple.
I've got everything I need that way.
Well, like I says, if you've got frozen fruit and you've got your greens, how hard can it make? You know, how hard.
And you don't taste any of the greens in there at all.
No, they just add more rich, you know, nutrients and fiber.
Right.
And that's what we need. That's what we want. So,
Wow.
yeah. Okay. Next, I thought I would just talk about making salads. I wanted to wash my hands.
While you're doing that, we'll run over in front of the camera here real quick. Our camera operator here needs to get in on this.
Yes. Okay. So basically, I'm just going to show how we do a simple salad because I think people feel like, well, we're good.
Oops.
I think people feel like salads are hard to make, and especially if you get the baby greens or the spring mixes, this is a great way to make a salad. There's no chopping involved. They're already washed, so basically, you know, just start with some, you know, greens in the bottom of your bowl, and like I said, as big or small as you want. And then usually I add 1 or 2 vegetables. So we'll just, for fun, I've already chopped up the bell pepper, the red bell pepper. That's a fun thing to add as far as, but cucumbers, celery, dicing really takes less than a minute. I usually always add avocado. And so half of an avocado is great for adding to a salad, whether you add it in slices or dices, either works. But it's good healthy fats that you're adding to your salad.
Makes for good presentation too.
Yeah. And then we have your protein. And this can be eggs, like I'm doing here today, or maybe leftover chicken or fish that you had last night that you want to dice up, or it can be a number of other things. So basically just put it on top of your salad, and again, you know, you can make a good healthy salad in minutes. It doesn't take a lot of work if you've got a little bit of help, like I said, with your baby greens and you know, just a couple of vegetables. So I'm going to add a little bit more protein. I like more fiber, and I love the seeds. These are pumpkin seeds you can add there. And you talked about dressings and how to vary your dressings.
Right.
My favorite dressings literally are just starting with olive oil. A tablespoon of olive oil, and then I add a couple of drops of lemon essential oil. You could do lime, you could do wild orange, green mandarin. People love the green mandarin, but I'm gonna do just a couple of drops of lemon. And I like black pepper, like you said, just one drop. You don't want more than one drop, so hopefully you just try.
A little goes a long way.
A little goes a long way. One drop there. And one drop of coriander. And again, you don't want to ruin it. Get a spoon if you don't know. And then add a little bit of salt in it. And that's it for your salad dressing. And like I said, this is a great way to make a salad. And like I said, it's very quick, it's easy, it's simple, and it's very, very hearty. We have the right carbs in here. We have good healthy proteins and fats, lots of vegetables, but it's very, very filling. I mean, you've got 2 eggs and you got the pumpkin seeds
That's
and the
lunch
avocado.
right there.
It's a huge, it's really a good lunch, and it's even a good dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that in mind as far as how to make salads. Don't stress over them. They're easy, simple to make. And like I said, from start to finish, you can make them in a couple of minutes. And I always say if it takes some, I'm one that starts with scratch with all of my foods, but literally if it takes more than 10 minutes, forget it. I just like to do things in a less amount of time. And even when I'm steaming and cooking vegetables and stuff, 10 minutes, that's all it takes to start with whole foods. So anyway,
Very
easy way
interesting.
to make a salad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Outstanding.
Now the other thing that I like to do in the summer is I do a lot of treats without cooking. I don't do a lot of cooking in the summertime, or at least especially baking.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Don't want to heat up the house.
I don't want to heat up the house. So these are just peppermint drops. They're actually kind of like just peppermints, and they're kind of fun to make. I have all kinds of things. In fact, I was going to bring another one that I forgot to stick in my ice chest. But anyway, these are peppermint drops. If you're welcome to taste one of these if you'd like to. And they're basically, you just stir them up and, drop them on there and put them in the freezer. And they're fun to make, just basically more your nut butters and some of your nuts and good healthy coconut milk. So, and we've got proteins in there, some vegetable proteins. And so there's a lot of things that you can do.
Good. Those are real tasty.
So that has the peppermint too. That's good for keeping you cool. So we've got the peppermint there. We've got a few oils here for keeping you cool, and those, and definitely this smoothie bowl. So there's fun things that you can do.
Sneak over here. One of the things I want to try also, I'm anxious to taste your dressing.
Sure, absolutely. See how that goes.
Wow.
And like it says, it's a great dressing, and you're not adding expensive dressings are really, really expensive. And if you stop and think about what you're paying for a salad dressing versus just olive oil and a few essential oils, you can make however much you want, and they're so much healthier because the dressings have a lot of additives and a lot of things that you don't need. And so this is a way, like you said, to variate.
Well, and it's nice and light, and with the oils, you could go so many different directions with that.
Yeah.
That's really good. And all the proteins you got in there, 2 eggs, all the pumpkin seeds and everything else. There's a lot of protein in there.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
So, fun ways to stay cool in the summer. And again, what you put in this body gift that I say is my body gift. What you put in your body really helps you stay cooler or makes you hotter, gives you energy, brings sickness or disease or wellness. It is just all about what you're putting in your body. So give your body what it's craving.
Garbage in, garbage out, same as the computer. No, this makes perfect sense. And again, if you want to find out more, go online to EarleneTilton.com, or you can email her at AskEarleneTilton.com, and you can. She's been very generous with sharing recipes, and Let me tell you, some of them are really, I mean, all of them that I've checked out so far have been just amazing. So, and the nice part is having done a lot of cooking more on the not so healthy side of things, I find this really refreshing because it really is delicious, but it's also really good for you, and that's a great combination. Always good stuff.
All right. Well, thanks a bunch for joining us, and definitely email me, ask@earlingtilton.com, or go to my website, and keep learning how you can benefit.
And we'll be back with you next month.